Goedemiddag allemaal. We beginnen even in het Nederlands. Want namens de directie, familie Mak en alle medewerkers van Europapark wil ik u van harte welkom heten hier in Nederland. In de RAI op deze EAS-beurs. We gaan zo meteen verder in het Engels. Zodat iedereen het verhaal kan beleven wat we hier willen gaan vertellen. Maar nogmaals, hartelijk dank. Fijn dat u er bent. Goedemiddag iedereen. Good afternoon. Guten Tag. Bonjour. My name is Henk Groene. I'm representative of Europapark in the Benelux region. I want to welcome you here at our press conference here at the AES. Last week, Europapark opened the roller coaster in our newly French-themed area. The biggest highlight in this area was and still is the Eurosat roller coaster, which now is renamed into Eurosat Cancan coaster. Today we want to share more with you about this roller coaster and this great project we just finished. That's why I have three speakers for you. First I want to invite managing partner of Europapark, Michael Mak, who is responsible for the whole project of Eurosat Cancan Coast and the French area. Second speaker is Torsten Keubelen. He is responsible for the sales and marketing of Mak Rides. And he can tell you all about the challenges he faces putting in a new roller coaster in an existing ball. And last and not least, I want to invite Chris Lange. As creative director of Europapark, he was responsible, together with his team of course, for the whole designs of the newly French-themed area. For those who are not familiar with Eurosat Cancan coaster, or the former Eurosat coaster, I will give you some basics. The ride originally opened in 1989. The ride is situated in a 45-meter high dome and very unique, and perhaps Torsten can tell us more about this, is the fact that the train climbs up a spiral lift in the center of the dome. The former ride was themed to space flight, and the last ride, perhaps one of you witnessed it, was on 5th of November last year. And more than 80 million, remember, 80 million people enjoyed this ride in the last 28 years. Good. I have some questions for our speakers. First question is for you, Michael. Last week you opened attractions with a press conference and a big ceremony. Am I right when I say that that day was full of emotions?
But not only the day of the opening was emotional, I think the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks were very emotional, not only the Eurosat Cancan coaster, but also having won for the 5th time the Golden Ticket Award in Branson, Missouri, where my brother and my father went to pick it up, shows us that we're on the right track. We're really honored and lucky to get it 5 times in a row. But also the reopening of Cancan Coaster, not only that the roller coaster was built by our grandfather and Thomas and myself, but discovering it from the first construction site to the end. So we have a lot of childhood memories and really being responsible of developing this new coaster together with Moulin Rouge, together with Madame Curiosité, Freudenreich, and also the Valerian VR was a experience which I never done before. Really have 2 rides in one existing bowl, and then winning the prize in America. I think it was a really, really exciting couple of weeks.
Yeah, I can imagine. Not only the trains and the track is renewed, but we also introduced some novelties. Can you tell me more about, not only me, but the whole group, about those novelties?
Well, first of all, one of the novelties was certainly to have a Roman rite experience in Valerian, which means that we prolong the experience from 5 minutes to nearly 9 minutes. That people do use a VR existing headset, what only the Void did in the United States, Los Angeles, in London, to really extend the VR experience. We can do that up to 14, which has never been done before. And we really tracked together with the company Holodeck, which was founded by VR Coaster and the Mack family out of the Fraunhofer Institute, which is really the first time where you can track up to, I think, 100 in a large-scale field, but we are only tracking 14 in our system. So which is really unique to have an experience that starts before the ride even continues. And that's something really unique. If you never tried it, it's a completely new experience. We did the VR Coaster on Alpen Express, started 2015, where you just do the ride itself, but now you really immerse in the whole world. And I really have to thank my team at VR Coaster and Holodeck. They have done a tremendously nice job. And of course, our internal guys. I think they haven't slept for the last 2 weeks because it was a 14-hour testing and adjustments. At the moment, we're still driving with one train. We're going to put the second train, hopefully, within the next week in, so we can get the capacity higher. We have 250 an hour with our VR system, the Roman ride, and 5 trains going to drive regularly. We have one of the trains here in Amsterdam, so we try to get it as soon back so to have full capacity. And the second thing is, Torsten is going to talk about that. It's more mechanical, and I'm not a mechanical engineer, so before I'm telling anything wrong, but it's a switching track, and Torsten's going to go into that more detail, and that's a masterpiece. My dad, being a mechanical engineer, had big eyes when he saw the switching track arriving. I also did like it, but for me the VR experience was more appealing. But the switching track was the necessity to really get 2 attractions in this beautiful bowl.
More on the track and the extra station. Torsten will explain it to us. But we have a small video of the Valerian experience.
Amazing, to be honest. You know, like I dreamed from this world for so long, and then the film in 3D, so that was pretty cool. But now you just like dive in it, and it's, even me, I was like, wow.
I did the ride myself last week, and it's amazing. You have to do it, and afterwards we have a special present for you, so you can experience it yourself. As we're here on a trade show, we're talking about trends. Corporations and the use of intellectual property are trends in our industry. For this project, you managed to get 2 partners on board. I think one we saw already in the video, Luc Besson, and there's another partner.
Yes, it is. There is the world famous Moulin Rouge, and I was inspired by the movie which came out a couple of years, because actually the Moulin Rouge started with the roller coaster in the backyard. I don't know if some of you know the story, but it was, I mean, everything was a little bit in that time connected, like the roller coaster industry the cinema industry, and of course the dancing shows, the cabarets. So they all were traveling people, and I thought it is a perfect fit. And on top of that, my dad loved to watch the Moulin Rouge show on New Year's Eve. So we thought it would be perfect because everybody knows the Moulin Rouge outside France, and we thought it is a perfect symbol if you walk into our French area to see the Moulin Rouge, because it captures immediately the French way of not of living, but it's like a symbol. It could be either the Eiffel Tower, or it could be, for me, a Moulin Rouge. And I think it looks beautifully, and we're quite proud to be the first place outside of Paris to have a replica of Moulin Rouge. And well, you can see a picture of the Can-Can ladies, which is a very traditional dance. So I do believe that we have a perfect match. We were thinking, Chris and I, of what we should present to the family, whether it should be Jules Verne or Moulin Rouge, but we came up that Jules Verne was like another small theme park that had already as a topic, so we decided to go different. And so far the people appreciate the Moulin Rouge topic, and I'm personally quite happy because every night we walk through the park and see Moulin Rouge turning. It's kind of, it really gets your attention, and you have a stereotype in your head which you associate with France at the first glimpse.
Yeah, for your information, those dancers were only on the opening day. Sorry. By the way, we have a making of, 6 minutes of how we worked on this project for 311 days.
2, 1, 0, all engines running.
There is of course a bit of wistfulness today, as there are so many great memories of this roller coaster, but I'm looking forward now to Eurosat 2.0. I must admit that I'm, however, a little bit sad. It's a very special moment as we're all sitting in this train together. We're looking forward to what's coming, but of course this ride is also a homage to our granddad. There are so many memories and countless emotions as part of this last ride with Eurosat. I haven't been on this ride in daylight for a while. The last time was when the globe hadn't been completely closed. Now riding it in daylight again seems even more challenging than in the dark. With the light on, it's a totally different ride. Normally you would have experienced it in the dark. Apart from the very first ride, which I did when the globe hadn't been completely closed, it's something very special today. I'm still totally overwhelmed. I was so lucky to be able to sit in the first row twice. I feel tears welling up. In 2000, this was my very first big roller coaster. I've traveled the world for a bit now, and this was the starting point of my fan career. There are so many emotions connected to this ride that I can't put them into words. I think you can hear that I'm losing my voice. In the background, you can see the ongoing work. In principle, there are 2 work sites. One is to replace the rails. That means that all rails are newly produced in Waldkirch in accordance with the latest production technologies and DIN standards. We will have the most updated rails in this roller coaster. To replace the rails, we had to open the globe at the top. And directly behind us, the new beautiful facade is being created, which will enrich France further. There is a lot to learn for us at the moment. Nobody has ever before only changed the rails of a roller coaster. Most of the times you will replace the pillars as well, but we're doing it differently. That means for us it's learning by doing. The challenge for us is that we have an existing attraction. The globe is a globe. There was already a waiting area which was simply covered. To the left and right of the lake in France are wonderful facades designed by Ulrich Damrau. Our plan is now to bring this all together. When you stand by the lake and take a 360-degree view, you should really feel like you were in France. That is why we created many different facades to convey our story.
Und die Geschichte war
With the
halt,
story, we want to create a sexy French lifestyle at the turn of the century.
wir wollen um die Jahrhundertwende, also einen Lebensstil und natürlich auch irgendwo
With that in mind, we wanted to play with the typical cliches and were lucky enough to form a cooperation with the Moulin Rouge. We are now recreating here as the only place worldwide, the Moulin Rouge.
die Moulin Rouge auch nach.
Die Kooperation mit
The cooperation with Moulin Rouge is unique in this industry. I was straight away excited when Michael came up with the idea. It's a family-run business, a worldwide known concept. We are in France. I don't think it could get any better. It's right on target without knowing yet what our guests will say about the new attraction in a few days. We are working 15 hours on site every day, or probably even closer to 17 hours. The decorating in accordance with the theme has started. There is still lots to do, but it will work out in the end.
zwei Bahnen auf
Two rides on one track is an absolute novelty. No other theme park is offering this experience worldwide so far. It definitely makes me proud that we managed to magically transform the Eurosat into such a great attraction. There are already a few free roaming experiences across the globe. However, no one has so far combined free roaming and a roller coaster ride, which means free movement within a virtual room in combination with entering a roller coaster train.
La nouvelle attraction.
Eurosat Coastiality will be unbelievable. A roller coaster in combination with a VR headset. Guests will immerse into the world of the Valerian and at the same time experience an exciting roller coaster ride. I personally find this a bit scary as I normally don't ride on a roller coaster, but I guess I'll have to make an exception this time. Eurosat Coastiality and Valerian will be the only roller coaster that I will ever ride. And I'm sure, having been able to see some of it in advance, it will be unique.
Dès le départ, on va mettre son casque.
I find it especially exciting that the experience starts before the actual ride.
Vraiment, je pense, changer l'expérience.
Die Fahrt selbst ist besser.
The ride itself is better than I expected. We have completed the first test rides. Thank God, as this was our biggest expectation, the tracks are much gentler and quieter, so that we can include the new layout to have the best possible impact. Now we only have to find out what it's like in the dark, and with the decorations completed. It can only get better.
Kann ja nur noch besser werden.
War ein großartiger erster.
It was a fantastic first ride. It's something very special when you're able to ride on your granddad's coaster. Many childhood memories are coming back. Of course, you're a little worried before the first ride. Will the new one be as good as the old one? And already I can say the ride is better. It's very gentle. A fabulous new ride. It's pure fun.
These and
Luc Besson is joining us for the first ride. Super.
Michael, seeing this video again, what's going through your head?
Well, 10 months of hard work and a lot of discussions, and but just being overwhelmed and happy that we made it in time. It was like just last minute. I think we had 10 minutes before opening, so we had 10 minutes to fail. The ride wasn't up running, so a lot of pressure, which is now off the shoulders. We still have to continue to improve a little things in the ride, but that's normal. Everybody who knows Europa Park knows that we're never stopping, that we're always trying to involve and make our experience even better. But now we're just happy that we do barely 1,000 an hour capacity, that people can go in and ride. And
Because 7 trains are running.
not right now. At the moment we have 5 and 5 normal and 1 VR. And, one is actually here at the trade show, and which we're going to take then back. But on this. In this moment, I'd like to thank also Mrs. Yankas, who is present at the press conference, because a lot of the pictures being shot, actually she was the producer of a beautiful documentary which was just shown on Cable 1 on Sunday. So without the help of Cable 1, we wouldn't have so many beautiful pictures. So at that moment, a big thanks.
Vielen Dank. Let's talk some mechanical. Thorsten, how difficult was this order for Mark Rice? You had to deal with an existing globe, I think a small space to work in, and a track that had to follow the original track, the original layout.
Yeah. First, good afternoon, everyone, and I hope when we talk mechanical, it's not getting too boring for some people. Indeed, I mean, this project was a challenge for us, for all of us, not only because of the very short timeline of 10 months, and we were, when we started the project, we were all in agreement that we don't want to change the ride idea which was created by Franz Mack and his team originally. So saying that, before we start the project, we entirely scanned the entire dome, get the really as-built situation as it is, before our layout engineers start working on that. After we start creating the layout, we instantly recognized what engineering achievements have been done in the 80s when this coaster was created. It's really outstanding and amazing how this coaster was designed on a drawing board, not having the 3D tools and the laser scan of the area. So it's really outstanding, and at the time it was built, never really communicated. So, but we learned that when we starting on that. It was, when the ride was built, probably a world record. The ride has 69 track crossings. And nobody knew that it's going to be a world record. And it's still, I think, of today a world record, which makes not the ride better at the end of the day, but the achievements when this ride was originally engineered were very outstanding. We learned that. So what we have done, basically, we had a challenge using the existing structure, the supporting structure. That's why we did this scan. And by saying that, the concept or the ideas of our engineers was we have to smoothen the ride with the newest technology of 3D splines and for sure the manufacturing process of the tracks. And what we have changed in the profile, we put some little changes in there, have some airtime humps to enhance a little bit the ride experience. And finally, the track fits very well, so we created adapters between the existing structure and the new track. And as we have previously a little bit talked about that, we have to follow the new standards, which is 33 years ago. That means, to give you a little idea, the track itself went from the weight about 4 times more that we can fulfill the new tracks. So we had a regular ladder track before, and now it's a backbone track with 2 backbones underneath. So it's a specially timed track to fulfill the new standards. The trains were done new with onboard light, onboard sound. The only thing which was kept was the spiral lift. Everything else was changed.
Just a question. You said there are special trains for the VR. What is special in those trains?
So all the trains are actually equipped with the so-called black box, which talks to the headsets for synchronization. And during the project, Michael then came up, I want to do a VR experience. But this ride, we all know, is a major ride, was a major ride in the park and is a major ride in the park. So we cannot lose capacity throughput of the guests by implementing a VR experience, which usually takes more time for operation to load the guests. Therefore, our engineers came up with an idea to have a separate station that we can offline and VR train and take the time to load it, and when it's finished, we online the trains again.
That means an extra station. What was your solution? Because it has to go in the regular track.
Yeah, so there were a lot of discussions how we can solve that, even because the track was already locked, let's say this way. So we came up with an idea to have a track switch, a special track switch. You see a picture here right now, which is also a unique piece of very sexy engineering, I would say. So the track switch, which is a rotatory track, a switch which can rotate 360 degrees, but also there are 2 tracks on top of that which can flip over. So, and this track switch connects 5 different positions. So we can go the regular path into the regular non-VR rider station. So we can rotate and flip the track so that we can feed offline a train in the VR station and afterwards online back on the track. And additionally, we have another spur where we can get the trains in and out for maintenance purposes.
I think we have a video of the
Yeah, we have an animation before we're going to start that. Okay, I tell you when it's... All right, so here you can see some of the positions, and when the track, the curved track flips over, pneumatically operated. Oh, this works much better than we tested. So I had a nice, it was very chunky when we tested just before the press conference, so I had my excuse saying, usually the animations work perfect, in the real world there are some problems. In this case it's vice versa, but it looks very good.
Mark Rice, question. Which number of roller coaster was this project?
Okay, nobody count that. So we know when we make investigations. When we did our last company video, and we came up with about 150 roller coasters ever built by Mach Rides, and counting from that number, so we are at 158.
Okay, because we have a small video on the new image clip of Mach Rides.
Welcome to Mach Rides from the Black Forest. Our business is motion and emotion. People have always kept moving. It was and is the passion of every one of us. Exploring limits and gravity. Simply said, having fun and thrills. But here in Weidkirch, we go a step further ahead, adding some more magic to it, and make people smile. Or scream. The rush of adrenaline, the laughter of our visitors, and the cheers during the rides. This is our passion, all over the world. So who are we? We are the company with the human success factor, the right mix of passion and perfection that lies within each of our employees. A down-to-earth high flyer, manufacturing exclusively at its headquarters in Germany for more than 235 years. An authentic, grown, family-owned company with 8 generations of visionaries, filled with joy and ambition. What we do is to preserve the best of the old, keep it working with the best of the new. We are looking for opportunities to combine the various technologies for the benefit of the customers and create real added value. A careful attention to details and emotions. Manufacturing art, traditional artwork, high technologies and craftsmanship. Computer-aided design, a fascinating mix of shining metal and oil-covered hands. Supreme precision and raw power. We work hard to fly high. Our international reputation confirms that we are on the right track. This great experience leads us to a strong intuition, inspiration, and imagination. We go wherever our creativity takes us. So we keep going. Life is a roller coaster, isn't it? The future is now, with new innovations, like the inverted powered coaster. From the very beginning, with the first drafts to the engineering, our ideas are at full throttle. Sorry? Well, some facts. But of course. Mach Rides is home in every continent. We have built 155 roller coasters. More than 150 million people climb into a ride built by Mach Rides every year. We have received over 45 international awards. We employ 150 professionals. We stand for uncompromising identification with the customer. Professional in every aspect. Almost. So take your seat on a Mach ride and turn your vision into reality. Our customized riders are field and time tested. Trust us. And then the work rolls out of our door for painting or installation and goes off to have a life of its own. And this is what keeps it exciting from the very first day on. The wide world is my fairground is the keynote of Mach rides. Some people say we are in the middle of nowhere, here on the edge of the Black Forest. We say we are in the heart of Mach rides. An adventure that never ends. We make people smile. Mach rides. We are ready to meet any challenge.
Torsten, last question for you. Can you give some technical specs on the track?
The track switch. So first, it's a little bit disappointing that nobody see it from our guests. So it's a, yeah, let's say in the language of engineers, it's really a highlight. So it's about 3.5 tons in weight, and again it has this flipping track element to feed all the different lines, and also the speed of the track, because of the very tight dispatches of the trains, it's about 15 seconds to change the positions. So with this concept, I think creates a lot of opportunities for future projects. So with having two stations or going two different lines in terms of the layout, etc. So that gives us probably opportunities for other projects as well.
Okay, thank you. Chris, till now we only talked about Eurosat Cancan coaster, but we did an extensive reconstruction of the French-themed area. What's new in France?
There's, good afternoon first of all, there's a lot of things new in France, because we knew we're going to remodel this coaster, which is going to be the heart, the centerpiece of the French neighborhood, our French area in the park, but also we kind of cleaned up the area a little bit, because, you know, it's naturally grown. So there were, like, for example, one project we also did, which already then opened when we opened the park end of March, was the Tarte Flambée booth, which was very popular, very famous with our guests. Of course, we didn't want to take things away. We wanted to improve it and make it better. So basically, we kind of moved the location because it was like standing in front of a very nice old historic locomotive. So we kind of made way. That also, as I said in the video, we kind of tried to really have a 360 approach. Like really, when you're standing now in France, in our France, you should really feel and see only France. And that was one step of many steps. Another thing what we did is also, there used to be lots of podists in the water. So one thing is also we try to keep those water spaces open. Also, for example, to install a fountain show. So now we have every 15 minutes when you being in the area, you really have animation. There's music, there's fountains, so everybody loves fountains. And even hot summer, which we had this year, it cools down the area. So it's a fantastic side effect. And then, of course, another thing we also did, there you can see a restaurant boat. So we kind of, all the podiums which were in the water, we tried to put them on top of each other and themed it as a boat, which exactly looks like, as you can see it in Paris on the River Seine. So we really try to be authentic as possible. Another highlight was clearly the Madame Freudenreich, which was our dinosaur attraction. Also very long day, very beloved by our guests, and we kind of came up with a new storyline and also made it very authentic French. So the idea here is that people walk into a very cute souvenir shop, curiosity shop, and Madame Freudenreich, she is actually holding dinosaurs in her backyard, in her winery, and so guests really love it. And also with that one, we also try to push our 360 media approach also. So with that one, we can like now buy an illustrated children's book, which is very popular already on Amazon and sells quite good, which makes us very happy because this is the right direction we've gone with that. And there's also a clip series on YouTube available, which goes with that storyline.
Of course, but the pièce de résistance is the silver bowl, with now 3 attractions in it. Can you show us some sketches of how such a process works for you? And by the way, where do you come up with those ideas? Are you going on holiday in France, or?
When you travel, you're being inspired, but as Mike said, really, when I knew that we're going to replace that track, which will be a very smooth ride experience, we knew that we had to do something, because like one part of the fun of the attraction, as the fans and the guests know it till then, was really also the shaking part. So now like kind of almost gliding through the dark, which is kind of gliding, flying through the night. So there's like one thing kind of came with the other. So we knew we want to have like a flying over Paris nighttime experience, and like certain movies was a great, the Moulin Rouge movie was a great inspiration. And then we knew, like kind of we started really inside and developed that story, and it became bigger and bigger. And here in the queue line, there's some sketches from the queue line. Basically, the guests, we want to tell them and immerse them in a French lifestyle. Sexy environment, which is like, this is the artist apartment, people queue. So there's like, on our story, there's an artist living in that space. Before there were some sketches of the World Exhibition, which kind of ties in that, because our ride vehicle, which starts in the garden of the Moulin Rouge, really was like first shown to the world in the World Exhibition in Paris in 1900. And so kind of was like a puzzle creating the storyline as a team together, and of course the highlight truly was then when Moulin Rouge agreed that we officially can use the Moulin Rouge, which of course is then a new icon which we brought into our park.
But you didn't answer my question. What do you do as a designer to get that real French feeling?
Like really, like we went to Paris, we walked around in Montmartre in the rain, in the sunshine, and really tried to like really embrace that lifestyle and that atmosphere which is on the street there. So there's really a lot of traveling for the kind of Madame Freudenreich. We went to the Alsace, we were like Colmar, just around the corner, Selistadt, so it's all those villages. We can drive there in 20 minutes. And me being from Berlin, not like being from that region, so that was always kind of so picturesque, so I was always amazed by those French villages. So that's why we try to kind of bring that also into Europa Park. So it is really a lot of traveling and research, really. Go there, have dinner there, go there with your team, and spend some time and get like really embrace the environment.
I envy you. The current projects. Perhaps everybody knows that the Europa Park is building a water world, Rulantica, and a 16th hotel, Bonassar. I think that's at this moment on your desk, isn't it?
Amongst other stuff, this is also on my desk, yeah. We are, as we can see here on the pictures, we're pretty far along with our construction. So the hotel and some of the facades are already like, like the scaffolding is down, and there's like hundreds of people working inside to really, build the rooms inside the hotel. So it kind of looks almost done from the outside the hotel, but like trust me, inside it's still like a big construction site. But then opposite, of course, of the hotel, we do have the water park, and now there was a lot of things going on the last couple of weeks, So we put those gigantic roof beams. They measure like 3.5 and by 4 meters, so there are 5 of those, which hold our roof. So they went up. As you can see here, we're kind of filling in the roofs now. You see the big glass panels, which are gonna also give a lot of daylight in that space. So kind of by week, this building changes, and of course we also will very, very soon start with the interior FEMI works. First we're going to put the rock work in, And then of course like the slides, they're being like on one picture we saw, they're already being like pre-assembled kind of next to the water park, and we're kind of waiting right now till we can start putting up those slides.
I'm not sure, do we have a video? Or? Yes, we have a video of the current state of the project.
Ich spür den Rausch, komm doch mal mit, wenn du dich traust.
Gonna feel the rush, gonna see the signs, gonna feel the wind in my face and burn lights.
Ab auf die Achterbahn und durch die Wolken fahren,
wir greifen nach den Sternen, flying higher, feel the beat, our desire, just move your feet. Passion flowers, when we meet, we're ready to go for the best day ever. The best day ever.
When it's going that fast, we can open next week, or when are we going to open?
Almost, yeah, there. Next week will be hurtful. It will be cold when you go there with your swimming trunks on.
When is the opening date?
We're aiming end of next year, so towards the fall, when our main season, Europa Park, kind of comes a little bit to an end. We hope to be online and go and start with the water park.
Last question. When I think of a water park, I always see palm trees, tropical things for.
No palm trees.
No palm trees.
We very early on we really like put like some roles out to us also within the team and the design team especially. There's no palm trees and no pirates because like in that region there's quite some great water parks and indoor spa areas and so on. So we really wanted to be different. Together with the hotel, we're really staying in the northern region, like in the Scandinavian waters. Like we created this mythical island Rolantica, and of course, like so we're staying in the vegetation, so which means there's going to be pine trees, there's going to be birch trees, but definitely no palm trees.
Okay. Curious.
Yes, we excited, like seeing this video also, and now seeing the space, how it comes together, and walking to the construction site. It's like so much fun to see really how things come together, and like, you know, because everything is on paper when you design it, you know, there's some 3D modeling of course these days, but it's we are all very excited because we truly also try to do some new technologies. You know, we do have a very like a lazy river which you go on for 8 minutes, which we try to push media also and approach and storytelling with those, like almost treated like a dark ride. So also has never been done before. So like truly also in the water park there's some new things, and we always want to expand and deliver the best for our guests.
Okay, thank you. Last question for you, Michael. We already talked about trends in theme park industry. Other trends are creating content, virtual reality, multimedia, and also media-based attractions. Can we already have MagMedia, but can we expect more in this field?
Well, first of all, we are happy to announce here at IAPA in Amsterdam that we're going to produce a new 4D movie for this winter. It's going to be a night in the park, literally translated. At the moment we just have the German and the French version. We're going to translate the English one later in the year. And as you can see, there's a new logo on the poster, which is called Mag Animations, and we're very proud to partner up with Ambient Entertainment, and I'd like to welcome Holger Tappe, our CEO of the company, who is sitting right in the middle, and he produced very successful with us already the Time Carousel and Journey to Castle Balthasar, the first and second movie, and also Happy Family. So we joined our forces to be stronger in the theme park market. We also want to deliver CGI content, not only doing theme park movies, but also delivering content to Ride Systems, which brings me to the new founded company, which will also be revealed at this IAPA trade show. I think we have a little video for that, so I just want to finish with the video. So we should have now one slide coming up with the new. So as you can see, there are two new companies which we're gonna start beginning of this this autumn. It's going to be one Takumean Rights, where we try to pimp up your ride, including media content, and together with Mac Animation, who's the delivering company of your content assets. So we try to combine the best of two worlds, of Mac Media and Mac Rights, to come up with Takumean Rights and Mac Animation. So that's from our side. But I'd like to thank on this place, first of all, IAPA for giving us the opportunity to host this press conference today here in Amsterdam. And the same, I'd like to thank my family, who's nearly all present, the shareholders, my father, Roland, and Uncle Jürgen. Thomas is taking care of the park back home. To have the opportunity to take these new ventures together with VR Coaster, Holodeck, but also Takumean Rights and Mac Animations. They're lying interesting times ahead of us. The first Mac Animation movie is going to be Night in the Park, and more projects to follow up in next year. I won't tell too much, but you can ask later Holger what we have in the pipeline if you're interested in knowing more about that. And we have Lars Goldenbogen. If you could wave your hand, who's responsible for Takumean Rights, if you have any further questions to that. Thank you very much for your concentration listening.
So that's quite a scoop to new companies for the Mac family. We have 3 minutes for questions. Are there questions? Yes?
Well, there was a terrible fire in Europa Park this year. Can you tell anything about the Pirates Ride or what's happening with that space?
At the moment, we are in full planning. As Chris was mentioning, that it's one of the project on his table is Rulantica, but the other one is certainly Pirates of Batavia. And for my father and my uncle, it was very important to rebuild the ride at the existing place, which we surely going to do. We are retracking. We're looking if we keep one-on-one the same track. It's going to be the same ride system, but there will be minor changes. We want to upgrade a little bit of story. We don't want to have fire in it, of course, anymore. So we're going to change the scene where we have the burning Batavia. But there's a lot more to come. Certainly it's going to be a little bit media content in it. Obviously, we're not copying anybody, but with the combination of Mac Animation and Takumean Rights, of course, we want to show our strengths in that ride between the manufacturer of Mac Rights, but also the animation company. But there's still going to be Hoffman Animatronic in it, don't worry. So we're going to try to keep as traditional as we can without bringing a new flavor to it. And I'm just looking at Andreas, he said to me, don't do it one-on-one, change it a little bit. So I'm just looking to long discussions about that. So, but you can be sure, we try to do the same what we did with Europa Park, keep the history, keep the history of Franzmark, but maybe do it slightly different. I won't say better, but different, more time in the time spirit, and that's certainly going to happen to Batavia as well. We keep it in tradition and respect tradition, what happened at Europa Park, but we try to maybe give it a little bit of an update, and I think it's going to be very exciting and a great new ride.
What do you think? How long does it need?
I think we won't open before the mid of 2020.
So just like from a creative point, so for us it was really also important to like take some time and really, because it is such a beloved ride with the fans, but also with the family Mac. So there was like a lot of responsibility within Mac Solutions, and now we're like, but we are on a good track, and I'm like personally very happy that like, everybody feel comfortable with the changes, and of course we want to like spin our new twist on it, but like the fans will really remember a lot of things. So that was a challenge, but like we're very happy now, and it's very great that the family trusts us to really take that treasured ride as we know it and as the guests know it, and kind of elevating it to a new level.
Thank you. If you have more questions for the speakers, Well, you can ask them at the booth of Mark Rice, because we're leaving this room. This press conference has come to an end.